everyone, welcome to this watercolor tutorial. My name is Kenzie and today we're going to be painting this firework scene. There's no sketch provided for this one, so let's jump in and get started. So this right here is my Winsor Newton watercolor paints that I have taken from the tube and put it inside this palette that I got off of Amazon. I have a tapping cloth right here. It's always good to have one. That way you don't have excess water on your page. I also have my two water cups right here. One I use for cool paints and one I use for my warmer paint colors. I also have right here my dryer. I like to use this to speed up the process between layers. These are the brushes that I use. These are the silver black velvet. I have size 12, 4, and 8, and these are the round tip brushes. So these are also some other brushes that I like to use as well. If I have a large area like a landscape, I'll typically use this brush. I also like to use bleed proof white. This is a very highly pigmented white, which will sit on top of any type of color. These three palettes I do use often. They are the Prima Marketing palettes. Today I'm going to be using the Shimmering Lights. I'm using this painting as an example. I always like to have painter's tape on hand. I like to paint down my paintings. It's easier to one, film, and to also just keep everything from moving around and it getting a little messy. It also helps to protect your desk, which you'll see mine is very worn, so it definitely does help with that. So for this painting, the first thing that I'm going to do is do the wet on wet technique. I want there to be lots of soft blends. So I'm just grabbing some fresh water and I'm applying it to my page. I am not going super crazy with my water where it's super oversaturated, but I do have a nice glaze on my sheet if I was to hold it up to the light. So I'm switching now for my mop brush. I'm going to do my size 12 for now. Yeah, I'll try out. No, this is my 8. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be adding lots of different colors and variations for my sky. I'm going to be sticking with the blues and the purples. And I'm going to bring in some dark shades, and I'm going to be taking advantage of the water that's down on my page right now and letting these colors blend super nicely. I'm grabbing my indigo now for some darkness, especially towards the edges here. Letting these colors mix and blend. I'm not really going any particular direction, just letting the water flow here, let colors blend, and just see where it takes me. I do want to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to add in a little bit more black over here, my edges. This painting reminds me a lot of like a galaxy sky as well, just adding in these colors, just letting them blend. If you want your painting to be super, super vibrant and bold and lots of colors, you can also do a second layer as well. Just let this dry, come in a second time. That's another way to get really vibrant colors. I'm gonna mix a little bit of red as well. Have a nice red tone to it in some places. You can just keep going with this until you are happy with what you have painted. I'm just trying to make sure all of my colors make sense on my page, just letting them blend and be bold. Okay, so I am pretty happy with how this looks. I'm just gonna let this dry and do its thing. Okay, so before I completely let this dry, I'm gonna come in to some of my areas and I'm gonna start scooping up for some of my fireworks. So I have here a napkin. So I have a damp brush and I am just gonna create some nice little firework lines. If your painting's not completely dry at this point, you can lift some of the colors that you have put down. So that is what I'm currently doing right now, is just scooping and lifting. I call this the scooping technique. I don't even know if there's like a proper name for it, but that is what I call it. So I'm trying to just scoop. Okay, so I have just done some scooping and I'm gonna let this 100% dry. So I have my dryer here. Okay, so now comes the fun part. So I'm gonna come in and I have my bleed proof white here and I'm gonna start creating the effect of the fireworks. So I'm starting off with just some small little lines coming from my center, and then I'm eventually just gonna start making them larger, my lines. Like the further away they are from the center, they just start getting larger. And since I did already place these little lines here, I am going to want to follow these lines that I've already painted. And you'll see I'm going out inwards. I find that my thickest brush strokes are actually when I'm going out. So I want this part to be nice and thicker compared to the inside of my firework. Oh my gosh, I'm loving this. This is so much fun. Okay, here we go. And then I'm going to do this little guy in the middle, same thing. So I'm going to do smaller little strokes towards my center. And then as I start to kind of move away from my center, I'm going to do larger strokes. So at this point, you've just seen me do these two. So I'm just going to repeat the same thing that I was doing over here. So now I'm going to come in with my gold and just repeat the same brush strokes that I've just done here all the way around for all three, and just to really just make this pop